Hello everyone, it's Lisa here and welcome back to Crochet with Lisa. Today I'm going to show you how I crocheted this really cute dog bandana. So it's got a nice little snowflake detail on it. The other side there is a button for closing it. This bandana was crocheted using Bernat Super Value yarn. So I used the white, and this blue color is called Peacock. Today I'm going to use the same white for the white parts, and for the blue I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I have this red heart yarn and it is just called blue. So that's what I'll be using today. These are a medium weight yarn and it is a number 4. I'm going to be using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. The only other thing you will need is a button for closing it. So I have these buttons. They are 3/4 of an inch button, just as long as it's something that can go through the hole. So when we crochet, we will leave a buttonhole, and you just need to make sure that your button is going to go through that hole. This bandana can be customized to the size that you need for your dog. The ones that I have made will fit a dog whose collar is about 14.5 inches long. So that's what I do. I take a collar and just spread it out and measure from this end, including the buckle, all the way to this end. So once you measure your collar to see how long you need it to be, then we're going to make a chain that is that same length. With the white, we're going to start with a slip knot. This is how I make my slip knot. I take the tail end of my yarn, put it over the working end, just go through that loop, grab that tail end, and pull out a loop. You can put your hook in there, and just when you pull on the tail part, it will tighten up. So I'm going to chain until my chain is about 14.5 inches long, and I've already determined that would be 50 chains. So I'm going to do 51 chains, and that last chain is just for turning. So I will meet you back here when I have my chains. I have my chain finished. I have 51 chains and it is about 14.5 inches long. So you will need your chain to be approximately the length of your dog's collar. Okay, so we're going to go to the second chain from the hook. We're going to do a single crochet. Crochet into the next one, single crochet. We're going to single crochet all the way along. So this dog bandana is very customizable to the size of your dog. It doesn't matter if you're making it 40 chains long, 60 chains long, it really does not matter to the finished product. Okay, so I'll continue doing a single crochet in each chain all the way along, then I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm just at the end of the row and I'm putting my last single crochet in. Okay, so with chain 1, then we're going to turn our work. So we're going to do a single crochet under that very last single crochet we just did, so right here. And then again in each single crochet all the way across. So I'll meet you at the end of this row, and then I'll talk about our next row. Just approaching the end of this row, and I just want to show you here, I still have 2 V's, so look for your V's, those are your stitches. So I need to make sure I do 2 more single crochets. Sometimes it's easy to miss this last one. Okay, so chain 1, we're going to turn. Now in this row we're going to make our buttonhole. So in our first single crochet, we're still going to do a single crochet in there. Now we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip a single crochet and do a single crochet in the next one. So just there where we made that chain one and we skipped that single crochet, that is going to be our buttonhole. So we'll just continue single crochet all the way across. So single crochet all the way across. When you get to the end, make sure you don't lose any of your stitches. Get to that last single crochet, chain one, then come back along this side, and I'm going to meet you back over here. So stop before you get to this buttonhole that we made. I'll meet you back there. So I'm just approaching the buttonhole that we made. So just to review, we did 2 rows of single crochet. That third row, we did a single crochet, chain one, skipped a single crochet, and then continued the single crochet all the way across, got to the end, and single crocheting back this way. So this will be our 4th row. So here is that chain one space. There is 1 single crochet before that, so I'll single crochet there. In that chain one space, I'm just going to do a single crochet right into that space made by that chain one. And then there will be 1 last single crochet. So there's 4 rows done. We're going to do 1 more. So chain one and single crochet across this whole row. So I'll meet you over here at the end of this row, and this is where we're going to change to the next color. Just getting to the end of this row. So I'm going to do my last single crochet, but I'm going to finish it with my new color. I'm going to chain one. I just want to mention that here you should have the same number of stitches as your starting chain. So my starting chain was 50, and then I did +1 for my turning chain, so I have 50 single crochets. With the blue over here, I've just done that chain one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie my 2 ends. First I'm going to cut my white yarn. Just going to tie these 2 ends. Okay, so my ends are tied. I've done a chain one with the blue, and I'm going to turn. Now I'm going to carry these ends with me, just so I don't have to weave them in after. So into our first single crochet, we're going to single crochet, single crochet into our second one. See how I'm carrying the ends with me? I'll probably do that for maybe about 15 stitches, and then I'll just let them fall to the side. So we're going to single crochet all the way across and then all the way back again. So we're not decreasing yet. We should still have the same number of stitches as our starting chain. So I will do 2 rows of single crochet, and then I'll meet you back over here. It'll be over here where we started with the new color of the blue. I've just finished my second row of the blue color, and I'm just showing you where I left my tails. And I'm just going to weave them back the way that they came. So this was coming this way, so I'm just going to go back that way. I'm going to make sure I hook it over a piece of white yarn there, because if I just stick it straight back in, I might just undo it all. Depending on how much stress this area is going to get, sometimes I like to go back a third time, but the way this bandana is, I don't think this area is going to get too much stress, so I'm just going to trim it there. So I've come this way and I've gone back. I'll do the same with the blue. So those two ends have been taken care of. Now for the rest of this bandana, we're going to start our decreasing. So there are 50 stitches here. In the next row, there are going to be 48 stitches. Then 46, 44, 42, 40, etc., all the way down to 2 stitches. If you have an odd number of stitches, it doesn't matter. You're just going to be reducing 2 stitches per row until you get to 1 stitch. So the way that we're going to do it is, so I'm at the end of this row, we're going to chain 1, turn, and instead of doing a single crochet in this first stitch, we're going to skip over to the second one. So right there we've decreased 1. Then we're going to decrease 1 at the end of the row. So I'll just continue single crocheting across. I'll meet you at the end of this row and I'll show you how I decrease at the end of the row. I'm just getting to the end of the row and I have, you can see here, 1, 2, 3 stitches left. So I'm going to single crochet in this one and then I'm going to skip the second last one. So for every row, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip the second last stitch. Chain 1, turn. So continue along in that same pattern, skipping your first single crochet, and then at the end of the row, skip the second last one and then single crochet in your last one. So keep going, decreasing every row until you get to your last 2 stitches or your last 1 stitch. I'll meet you back here when you get to that point. I'm back and I have 2 single crochets left. So I'm just going to chain 1, turn it, and then I'm going to skip that first one and single crochet into the next one, and then chain 1. I'm going to snip my yarn, just pull that through. So our next step is to put the border on. So I like to do it in the first color, and we're going to end up doing 2 rows. Get the white. I'm going to go back up into our top corner. Going through that first stitch there. And I always like to tie it. Just going to go in and pull up a loop, chain 1, single crochet in that same space. I'm going to take my yarn tail along with me, going to evenly space out my single crochets along this edge. So continue this, and then I'm going to meet you down here at the point, and I'll talk about what we'll do here. Just getting to the point here, so right here, so this is at the very point of our bandana. We're going to put 3 single crochets in that same space. Keep that tail with you. work it in on this side. So just continue along the same way. I'll meet you up here at this end. Just getting to the end of this side, so in that last space I'm going to single crochet, chain one, and then turn. I'm going to grab my yarn tail. I'm just going to bring that along with me. So along this side we're going to single crochet into each single crochet. Okay, so we'll continue single crocheting into each single crochet. When you get to this point down here, in the very middle single crochet of your three, put 3 single crochets in there. Crochet up along this side, and I will meet you back here. I'm almost at the end of this row. I've just got 2 single crochets left to do. And then to end it, I'm just going to chain 1, trim the yarn, just pull it through. So the bandana is finished with 2 rows of border in the white color. Now we just have to put all of our ends in, and then we're ready for putting the snowflake on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in all my ends, and then I'll meet you back here. I have all of my ends put in, and I've decided which side I want to use as the front. Now we're going to need a length of white yarn. And a yarn needle. We're going to look for the center of our bandana. So this here looks to be about the center here. I'm just going to go up this row, and I'm eyeballing it, so about right here. Maybe right there, we'll call the center. So I'm just going to go up from the back in that spot. Leave a little tail in the back. So if we look at our work, we can see this is 1 row of single crochets. Here's another row. This is 1 row, here's another row. So just kind of look at those holes that are there. I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my needle in, but I'm also going to go 1, 2, 3 more in the back. This is what I want the snowflake to look like. So I've come out here, I've gone in there, I've come back out here. So I'm just going to work on this section first. That there. So we're going to go back in here. Then I'm going to come out 1 section below where I just came out over here. So I'm going to go in there, come back out here. So I'm just going to make this V part of the snowflake. So I'm going to come over here, then I'm going to go under. Let me turn it this way, it's easier. So I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to come out over here. I'm going to go back in here. So the same place where I started this section. going to come back up in the middle of where these two sections are. And I'm going to do the same type of thing. So I'm going to go in over here, come out over here. And go back in here. So I have one section of the snowflake done. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I've done one section. Now I'm going to do the other section on the other side. And come back out here. So 1, 2, 3. Let me double check that. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go back in here. Then I'm going to come out one section under here. So I'm making this V part again. So I'm going to go one section over here and come back out over here. And then go back into that same space. Let me turn it this way. I'm going to go back into that same space and then come back over here. Now I need to make this V here. So I'm going to come up 1. So I'm over 1, up 1. So I've done the top part and the bottom part here. Now I'm going to do the two sides. Same thing, I'm going to come out through the middle section. I'm going to go over 3, so 1, 2, 3. Let me pull this out. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to come back here to this one, then I'm going to come up 2 sections over. So I'm going to make my V, I'm going to go in there, come out over here. I'm going to go back in here and come out through this section. I'm going to go in here and come out over here. Go back in there, and then I'm going to come back at the middle. Okay, I'm going to get you to make this 4th section on your own, so it's exactly the same as this one. Then we'll come back and then I'll show you how to do the diagonal ones. Okay, so I finished these 4 pieces and I've done one diagonal one to show. So we're going to do it exactly the same, except we're going in a diagonal way. Go up through the middle. I try and find the point that is between this one and this one. So it's right about here. And then again between this one and this one. So it's about right there. Come back into this one and go up here just one stitch length before that piece of white. We're going to make our V. We'll come back to that center part to do the second V. And then we're back to the middle again. So just make all of your diagonal lines the same way, and then we'll meet back here when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 finished. So I have finished stitching the snowflake on, and in the back I'm just going to kind of tie my pieces of yarn together, put a knot in there just to keep them secure. This is on the back of the bandana, so it won't really be noticeable. Our next step is to sew on the button. So if you put this around the dog's neck, you can adjust to see where is a good spot for the button. So our buttonhole is right here. It's in a little bit because we have those 2 border rows that we crocheted on. We're going to sew the button on the other side. My button only has the 2 holes, so I'm just going to go through the back, up through one hole, out through the other. That's all I'm going to do. Put a knot in here. There we go, our bandana is finished. I hope you enjoyed following along in this tutorial today. Found it easy to follow. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and you can follow along with some other great projects. Have a great day and happy crocheting.